Well, I actually lived the experiences of a lot of my students that I serve. I was a gifted student since early elementary school. And I started to experience something different when I went to middle school and high school. I started to feel like a disconnect between my peers in my accelerated classes and actually like outside of my accelerated classes as well. And it was interesting because a lot of the students that were in my accelerated classes, they were white. And I didn't really feel a disconnect when I was younger, but I definitely started to feel that in middle school and high school. I did have quite a few friends in those classes, but it was like clearly evident that I didn't fit the norm of the typical student and advanced classes. I was usually one of the only people of color in those classes, and I never learned about anything about our history and how that could fit into my story. So it didn't really develop my identity very much being in those classes. I also had a difficult time asking for help in those classes and often felt like the black representative for like all black questions, which I can laugh about now, but at the time it made me feel even more alienated from my peers in those classes. Many of my students now feel this exact way when I have like interviews with students or just ask them like, okay, well, why do you feel like you need this my class, the CDEP class? They usually often say like, because I'm the only person in the class, or I'm scared to ask questions because I know that I'm the black representative and I don't want people to think that because I'm black, I don't know the answer to this. It may seem complicated, but it's a really interesting story when you're just in those classes by yourself and you don't have anyone to connect with identity-wise. That's super important. Yeah, and so because of that, I just knew that there was a significant need for my program. Teaching for several years definitely helped me see the disconnect as well with students that were in these classes and just couldn't relate to their peers. And honestly, like I had a hard time relating to the peers that they identified with racially, because they were in these classes predominantly for most of the day, and they just couldn't feel like a tight connection to their peers that were outside of those classes. So yes, that's how I came up with the idea for the program.